Let's go to the forest. I will stay with you and Lakshmana in the forest for 14 years. I will take you away to Lanka and marry you. No. Don't worry, Sri Ram. I will find the Sita Ma. Ravan, Sri Ram will punish you from your dharma.
Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram!
Jai Shri Ram!
Sri Ram had to kill Ravana for dharma. Hanuman is the greatest bhakta of Sri Ram. Happy Diwali from Harshadeva.
I am Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, both materially and spiritually. I bring success to hard-working and dedicated people. I am the embodiment of the Lord's superior, spiritual, feminine energy, which purifies and uplifts in individuals. Each of my 4 hands represent the 4 goals of human life: Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. The large lotus I sit on is symbolic of divine truth, and the other lotuses are for fertility, beauty, purity, and spirituality. I bless everyone with abundance in both material and spiritual life. Tatastu.
I am Lord Ganesha. I am the remover of all obstacles. I am the god of new beginnings. My abilities are superhuman strength, stamina, endurance, resistance to injury, and an enchanted longevity. I bring good luck to people who need it. I also wrote the Mahabharata for Vyasa. My feather broke, so I broke one of my tusks to write it. I have a mouse, which I use as a vehicle. It isn't just a mouse, it was a goat which stepped on the foot of Muni Vamadeva, and he put a curse on him to be a mouse, and he swore to carry me everywhere. My favorite food is modak. That's why one of my names is Modapriya.
My mother's name is Goddess Parvati, who made me of turmeric powder, and my father is Lord Shiva, who had the strongest weapon, and he is the god of destruction.
Hari Om. The 6th day of the Diwali celebrates Raksha Bandhan. Raksha means protection and Bandhan means bondage. This is the legend of Devi Mahalakshmi and King Mahabali. King Mahabali was an Asura and a big devotee of Lord Vishnu. He defeated Lord Indra, the king of gods. Lord Indra was lying dejected, hence his mother prayed to Lord Vishnu to help get Indra his heavenly kingdom back. Lord Vishnu took an avatar of a dwarf sage, Vamana, and went to Mahabali's kingdom. Mahabali asks the Vamana, "What do you want, O little boy?" Vamana says, "I want 3 steps of the land." Mahabali replies, "Anything you wish for." Just as Mahabali uttered these words, Vamana grew huge. He covered the whole earth in 1 step, and the 2nd step he covered the whole universe. Then he said, "I have nowhere to keep my 3rd step." Mahabali offers his head for the 3rd step. Mahabali gets pushed to Patala, the netherworlds. Since Mahabali was Lord Vishnu's loyal devotee, Lord Vishnu goes to the netherworlds disguised as a caretaker and works for Mahabali. In Vakunta, when Devi Mahalakshmi started missing her husband, she also goes to the netherworld disguised as a destitute woman. One day when the woman was praying for Mahabali's well-being, Mahabali is moved by her devotion and offers her a boon. Devi Mahalakshmi appears in her original form and asks for her husband back from Mahabali. Once, upon seeing that the caretaker was none other than Lord Vishnu himself, Mahabali begs for their forgiveness. Devi Mahalakshmi blesses Mahabali and ties a thread around his wrist as a symbol of protection and prosperity. This bond between King Mahabali and Devi Mahalakshmi signifies the reason we celebrate Raksha Bandhan on the 6th day of Diwali. Hari Om.
According to Hindu mythology, Lord Vishnu destroyed the demon Narakasura in his 8th incarnation as Krishna. The demon Narakasura was the evil king of Pragjotishapura, near present-day Assam. The power made the demon king arrogant, and he became dangerous to his subjects and even to the gods. He ruled with a reign of terror and kidnapped 16,000 daughters of gods and stole the earrings of Aditi, the mother of the gods. The Narakasura legend of Diwali goes like this. Narakasura was considered a demon made of earth covered with earth. He was a giant who was often good, but sometimes misbehaved. He kidnapped beautiful young women and forced them to live with him. The gods asked Lord Krishna for help, and after a strong fight, he killed the demon, freed the girls, and found the earrings. First, Krishna had to fight a 5-headed monster guarding the demon's house. The ransom of the 16,000 girls is said to be the origin of the story that Krishna had 16,000 wives. Krishna granted Narakasura one last request because of the good deeds he had also done. Narakasura hoped that his death would bring joy to others. So, before he was killed, he shouted, "May this day be celebrated as a feast in this world." Krishna agreed to his request, and the women were released. After his victory, Krishna returned very early in the morning and was bathed and massaged with scented oils. Taking an oil bath early in the morning is still a Deepavali tradition. For Hindus, this Diwali story is a reminder that good always conquers evil. But this Diwali legend is mostly known in the west and south of India, not in the north and east. In western and southern India, Hindus break a bitter fruit called karita with their big toe on the day of Naraka Chaturdashi. This happens after a ceremonial bath in which sandalwood paste and sweet-smelling essences are used to recreate the death of the demon Narakasura by Sri Krishna. Therefore, this Naraka Chaturdashi day is dedicated to the lights and prayers that herald a future filled with joy and laughter.
Diwali is often known as a celebration of the return of Rama from exile, but it also signifies the return of the Pandavas from their exile. The Pandavas were the 5 elite sons of Pandu. They had been conceived with the help of a mantra by Queen Kunti. Each Pandava carried the attributes of different gods. Yudhishthira was from Dharma, Bhima was from Vayu, Arjuna was from Indra, and Nakula and Sahadeva from the Ashwini twins. They had all been exiled for 12 years after being tricked at a game of dice by their cousins, the Kauravas. The Pandava brothers were loved by the people, and their return from exile was marked by the illumination of lamps throughout the city streets, as the people considered it as a worthy celebration. The return was said to occur during the festival of Diwali, and thus is observed as in line with the annual tradition. From a different perspective, the people who live in the mountainous regions of Himachal believe that Diwali was the first day of the Great War of Kurukshetra. This was the war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. During the celebration there, locals dance and sing folk tales related to the epic Mahabharata.
Hari Om. The word Diwali comes from the Sanskrit word Deepavali, which means rows of lighted lamps. Hindu households from across the world celebrate by decorating their space with small lamps called diyas and other colorful lights. People cover streets and buildings in festive lighting, and there are lively songs and dances. Dazzling fireworks are set off, creating a spectacle of noise and light. This helps to scare away any evil spirits and celebrates the victory of good over evil. Many consider Diwali to be a fresh start, similar to the Lunar New Year in January. Many people clean, renovate, and decorate their houses and buy new clothes in preparation for the upcoming years. Diwali is also a time to settle debts and make peace. It's common for people to reach out to loved ones who may have lost touch and organize family reunions. In the past, Indian and Pakistani soldiers have exchanged sweets along the disrupted border as a gesture of Diwali goodwill. There are many reasons as to why we celebrate Diwali, inspired by the many different legends from the Hindu culture. One of these reasons is from the Ramayana. In the Ramayana, Rama and Sita are sent into exile for 14 years, and Lakshmana accompanies them. During the exile, however, Sita sees a golden deer and has an uncontrollable desire to have the deer, and therefore asks Rama to get it for her. However, the deer was an asura, a rishi named Marichi, who had taken this disguise to get Sita's attention and get her isolated away from Lord Rama, and was part of Ravana's plan to kidnap Sita. He does this, and Rama and Lakshmana are left distraught. Eventually, they team up with the Vanaras, the half-monkey, half-human clan, and wage a war against Ravana and win, rescuing Sita and settling the balance between good and evil in the world. By this time, exile had come to an end, and people lit lights and welcomed Rama back to his kingdom. Diwali brings Hindu communities together to celebrate light overcoming darkness and good defeating evil. Many Hindus celebrate at home and in the mandir by giving presents to each other, sharing meals, singing, dancing, and going to firework displays. Thank you for listening. Hari Om.